Hello, and it's time for our weekly Hebrew. So if you have a little facility with Hebrew, can you translate this? Here's my translation. And God said, let grass the land grass, or let sprout the land sprout. This is typical in construction. Three letters here. Well, it's Dalet, Sheen, Aleph. And then you have the noun. So let grass, grass. Let vegetate, vegetation. It's dying, you shall die. That kind of pleonastic tendency that the Hebrew language has to say it and say it again. So let grass the land with grass. Herb bearing, seeding seed. Again, here we have it again. We have the participle seeding, and then zerah, the word for seed. Ke zerah, zerah, whatever will seed, will seed. Anyway, so herb, seeding seed, tree of fruit, making fruit. Hebrew repeats it. This would be kind of a waste of words in one culture, but not for Hebrew. I mean, again, that would be culturally ignorant, to say that, oh, they're wasting extra words here. Levity or brevity is the soul of wit. Well, in some cultures, yes, but tree of fruit, making fruit, to its kind, according to its kind. I've sometimes said that Leviticus and it also is reflected in Genesis 1, that we find what we might call a kind theology, not a kind as in nice kitty, but kind as in this is this kind, this is this kind, this is this kind. I'm going to call it the priestly mentality of ancient Israel, at least at some point in its history, had a kind theology, a sense of the world as a bunch of boxes, and things belonged in their boxes. Some things belong in the boxes, and some things don't belong in the boxes. I personally am deeply sympathetic to Mary Douglas's hypothesis that the food laws, I think it's probably anachronistic to say that the food laws were about hygiene. I mean, that makes sense to us. It's made sense to others in Jewish history. But I think probably Mary Douglas is more on the right track to suggest that the food laws have to do with things being in the right boxes. Birds should fly, fish should have scales, and those sorts of things. Anyway, kind theology. According to its kind, that its seed in it is upon the earth, and it was so. Okay, well, let's look at this in a little bit more detail. This is probably the hardest verse we've had, or the most involved verse we've had so far. So Vayomer Elohim, this is an expression we've seen several times, so this should be fairly familiar. And God said, God, let the earth grass. So subject comes after the verb typically. So this here, as we'll see on the next slide, is a jussive. It's a command. It looks like an imperfect, but it's functioning as a command. And with a patak under the performative, it's a hiphil. It's an H. And by the way, one of the differences between the normal hiphil, and I'm getting ahead of myself, but one of the differences between the normal hiphil has a hierik yod. So it would be tad she if it were H imperfect. But the jussive downgrades the hierik yod to just a sere. So that's the sere here is a strong indicator that it's jussive rather than imperfect. And a jussive is a command. Let the earth grass. Let the earth sprout with grass. Let the earth sprout grass. Deshe. It's called a segelet, by the way, when you have two segols. The accent of a segelet goes on the first syllable. Normally, accents in Hebrew go on the second syllable, but with segelets, it goes on the first syllable. Deshe. Ashov, This is herb, the noun for herb. Herb seeding seed. This is the participle of zera, and then this is the noun zera, seeding seed. With a patak, again, we saw with a patak under the performative, with the mem here is what tells you it's a participle. And then the patak under the mem tells you it's an H participle, a hiphil participle. And the heric yod, remember I was talking about how the jussive kind of downgrades the heric yod. The heric yod here is an indication that this is in fact, a hiphil. Okay, seeding seed, tree of fruit. I'm going to take this as what's called a construct, because otherwise you have tree fruit. And although tree fruit is good, I don't think that's what it's saying. So tree of fruit, fruit of the tree, but the way it's worded is tree of fruit. Making. So this is a participle. When you have a holum after the first consonant, it's often a participle, a G or call participle. Tree of fruit, making fruit. Fruit making fruit. To its kind, according to its kind. So we have a prefix la on the front. We have a pronomial suffix, that's his kind. We would say its kind in English, but I wanted you to see that there are really only two genders in Hebrew, and this is the masculine. That, I'm sorry, I should have spread this out. I still can, there's still time, I can still do it. There, that might be a little better. Tree of fruit, making fruit, to his kind, that, asher means that, it's the relative pronoun. His seed, his, this is his, remember, his kind, his seed, in him, you see the theme here with the holum vav of his, upon the earth. The hey is the. Normally it would be hey patak doubling, but alepphs don't do doubling, and so it tries to shoot a dagish into there to double it, and it bounces back and makes a kamatz out of the patak. Okay, just making that up. Okay, and it was so. Vayichein. We've seen that before, and I was running out of space. I just left it. Okay, and it was thus. Okay, grammar. I've already told you some of the grammar. So vayomer is it's a converted imperfect, vav patak doubling. It's a call converted imperfect, or a G converted imperfect, because nothing's been done to the stem. It's the base, and it's third masculine singular, because it's he. Elohim is a he, or at least grammatically is understood as a he. From Amar, okay? So the next, I've already kind of parsed this one. This is an H. The giveaway is the patak under the performative. Again, a performative is it's different from a prefix. A prefix is a kind of has an independent meaning that in English it would be a separate word. And of course, the performative has to do with like whether the subject is a you or an I or a they, and it's conceived as really being part of the word. So the prefix is like it's detachable from the word, but the like an imperfect form or jussive form has to have a letter on the front specifying whether it's a I or a you or a she. So if you think of the prefix as being a toupee that comes off, and the performative is the actual hair, you can cut the hair, right? But it's the hair. So I don't know if that helps, but so this is the performative that tells you that this is feminine singular. Actually, I don't need the A there. It's not in this particular case. The A has to do with absolute or construct, and that's not done with verbs. Okay, at least not pure verbs. Okay, so and it's from Dasha. Okay, what else to participle? That's the word the. This I already did the parsing of this. The mem on the front tells me it's a participle. The heric yod and the patak under the performative tell me it's an H participle or hiphil participle. That's the causative, causing to seed, something like that. And it's masculine singular absolute. Masculine, just because the word for seed is masculine. And then singular, because it's just one thing seeding. And then absolute means it doesn't have an of after it. Okay, so this is construct, tree of fruit, making. I mentioned that a holum after the first letter usually indicates a participle, G participle, a call participle, masculine singular absolute, from asa, to make, fruit, making fruit. To its kind, according to its kind. Oh, I didn't catch the holums on this one. They're shifted a little bit. Give me a second. There we go. To its kind. That has sowed is in it. Okay. So again, there's that word for his that we saw on the previous slide. Upon the earth, and it was so. This is a vav patak doubling, no doubling because of the shava under it. And it was, this is it's a G converted imperfect, third masculine singular of haya, and then so, or thus. And that's a saluk, which is an accent. Okay. So not all the accents are in the script I've been showing you. That leads us to the pronunciation. So I'll give it a shot. Vayomer Elohim, Tad She, Haaretz, Desha, a shov. No, this is a sov. This is a seen, not a sheen. See how the dot, this is a sheen, dot on the right. This is a seen, dot on the left. Desha, a sev, a sev, a sev. Mazria, zera, eitz, peri, osei, peri, osei, can you peri? Lamino, asher, zar o, bo, al haaretz, vayihichen. And the holums are off here also. Well, let's go through the letters. Vav, patak, double yod, cholam, aleph, mem, sagol, resh, aleph, katef, sagol, lamed, cholam, hey, hirik yod, mem. Tav, patak, dalet, silent shva, because it's in a short syllable. Sheen, sere, aleph. Hey, kamatz, aleph, kamatz, resh, sagol, tzade. Dalet, sagol, sheen, sagol, aleph. Ayin, sere, seen, sagol, vav, bait. Mem, patak, zayin, silent shva, because it's in a short syllable, patak's short. Resh, hirik yod, furtive patak, so it's riyah. You do two vowels together. That's because the guttural opens up the A sound just a teeny bit. So it's just a little patak. Ayin. Zayin, sagol, resh, patak, ayin. Ayin, sere, tzade. Pei, by the way, these dagashes in that one there and that one there, they're just making it a hard, and that one there, they're not doubling it because you don't double the first consonant usually. It hardens the sound. There are letters called begad kefat letters. There's six letters. Begad kefat. Those letters can take a hardening dagesh or light dagesh lene, light dagesh at the beginning of a word. It just basically is a sound marker, adds nothing to the meaning. So I'll pronounce this as p instead of f. So the bait without the dagesh is pronounced v. Anyway, where was I at? Pei, vocal shva, resh, hirik yod, ayin, cholam, seen, sagol, hey. Pei, vocal shva, resh, hirik yod, lamed, vocal shva, mem, hirik yod, nun, cholam vav, aleph, katef patak. You see that this is a katef sagol, this is a katef patak. It's a compound shva. It has a shva plus, it's a very short, transliterated like this was an E with a short mark over it. This is an A with a short mark over it. They're transliterated. They're very short. Not quite as short as the Shava by itself. So it's like ranks in the army. This is the buck private, the Shava. It's got no rank at all. And then you've got the private first class with the ketefs. They've got a little bit of rank. I'm sorry if that makes no sense to you. Okay. Aleph, Ketef Patak, Sheen, Segol, Resh, Zion, Patak, Resh, silent schwa because it's in a short syllable. Patak is short. Not as short as this. So this is a staff sergeant. Oh, never mind. It's not. It's a corporal. It's corporal. That's what it is. Corporal. Ayin, Holim Vav, Bait, Holim Vav, Ayin, Patak, Lamed. This is a makaf. It's a dash. It's not a letter. Hey, Kamatz, Aleph, Kamatz, Resh, Segol, Tzadeh. Vav, Patak, should have been doubling, but it doesn't, but it's a yod, silent schwa. Hey, or is it a silent schwa? I think actually it's a vocal schwa. But that's a good question. Not 100% sure. If the dagish had been there, it would have been a vocal schwa, but the dagish isn't there. Vaya, yeah, okay, it's a vocal schwa. Hey, hirik yod, makaf, kaf, sere, final nun, sof pasuk is just grammar, says period. Okay, let me try the pronunciation one more time. Vayomer Elohim, Tad She, Tad She, Haaretz, Deshe, Esov, Mazria, Zera, Eitz Peri, Ose Peri, Lamano, Asher, Zar O, Vo, Al Haaretz, Vayehi Chen. That's Genesis 1:11. That's a lot of stuff today. Enjoy.